Going to put Nevada into the lean blue column. This state, Democrats did lose in 2024. Trump was able to win it, and the state also has a Republican governor. The midterms this November will be a good test to see which way not only this state, but the whole electorate is leaning in various key important battle swing states. The gubernatorial position is up for re-election in 2026. But I think if the election were to be held today between these two candidates with just kind of this snapshot in time, I think that Pete Buttigieg would probably be able to win the state against J.D. Vance. And then we're going to get to the state of Arizona. Arizona has become a swing state fairly recently. It voted blue in 2020, which was the first time in a while, even in like 2008 and 2012, which were generally pretty good years for Democrats. Obama wasn't able to win the state of Arizona, so this state has gone further to the left. There's some states that have kind of counteracted that. We have, you can probably see here, the state of Florida is in the likely red column. I have Iowa and Texas in the lean column. I don't think they'd be quite the same margin as J.D. Vance's home state in Ohio, as well as Florida, as well as what used to be regarded as a swing state in Florida. Florida, Ohio, and Iowa, too, have drifted further to the right in recent election years, and they've become more reliable for the Republican Party to earn some electoral college votes through those states. So that's going to be the call there in Iowa and Ohio, as well as Florida. And then Texas, I think Texas will probably become, odds are good enough for Democrats right now that with Buttigieg at the top of the ticket, they could win it. I don't think that's the most likely situation, but I do think that it would probably be closer than a likely margin, which is why I'm going to put it in the lean red column. But back to Arizona, said I don't feel quite as confident in Buttigieg winning it by quite the same margin as Nevada, which is why I'm going to put it in the tilt blue column. But that's going to be the call there in Arizona. And then we have this district here in Nebraska. This district is kind of like a blue dot in a red ocean. It's just the Omaha region. Both Nebraska and Maine have kind of interesting electoral systems where the state at large does delegate electoral college votes, but they also divvy up some of them by congressional district. And because Nebraska has just five electoral college votes, some of those are divvied up for the 3 congressional districts. One of them is generally safe, reliably red. The one surrounding Omaha is generally in the lean to likely red column. I think it looks like half it is lean. I think likely might be a more likely proposition, but and then the final district, the Omaha one, is definitely the smallest, but it just encompasses the Omaha region of Nebraska, which Harris was able to win this district in 2024. Is kind of the only somewhat competitive districts Democrats were able to win every state. So, but the relatively swing, it does lean blue, which is why I'm gonna keep it in the lean blue column. And I think Buttigieg, with the environment favoring Democrats quite a bit more on the national landscape right now, would probably be able to win this just by a lean margin. And then we're gonna go to the other half of the Sun Belt. I'm gonna go to the state of Georgia. I'm gonna put Georgia into the tilt blue column. This state kind of shocked the nation in 2020 when it voted for Biden. The state, similarly to Arizona, hasn't previously been a swing state in a while, a couple election years. But we've seen Georgia go to the left in recent elections. In the elections after 2024, the state had good election results for Democrats on the statewide level, and that put Democrats in a good position for the crucial Senate seat here in September, in John Ossoff, the incumbent Democratic senator's seat. And I think on the presidential level, if the election were to be held today, that the state would go by a tilt margin to Pete Buttigieg. And then J.D. Vance is going to get the first bit of good news called for him. That is going to be in the state of Carolina. North Carolina it's been a swing state for a little while. In 2008, Obama was able to win it, but he was not able to repeat that victory in 2012. And then 2016, 20, and 24, of course, it went to the Republican, well, in that case, it was Trump for all 3, but it went to Trump by a decent margin. It was fairly close. It is by nature a swing state, but it did go for Trump, and I think that with these candidates in mind, the election would probably remain Republican in that state unless things continue to improve for the Democratic Party, and I think it would take quite a bit. I think it's a possibility, but I think the most likely example is that the state would go to the tilt red column, so that's going to be the call there in North Carolina. And then we have the 3 Rust Belt states. I think that Pete Buttigieg's best hope lies probably with Michigan and Wisconsin. I do think they'll all be close, which is why I'm not going to do lean. I think the Rust Belt in the long run will become more Republican friendly. These states, they kind of shocked the nation in 2016 when they were kind of the deciding factor that resulted in the Trump presidency in 2016. And then 2020, Democrats fought hard for these states and they were able to win them back. Biden ended up winning on all 3. And in 2024, however, they swung back to the right. I think Wisconsin was actually the closest state of all of the swing states, and the closest state, of course, in general. And I think that Democrats are probably well enough positioned to win the state of Wisconsin. And then Michigan, if I remember correctly, this is Pete Buttigieg's home state now. He grew up, he was a mayor of South Bend, Indiana, just neighbor to the south there. Jesus, of course, winning his home state in Ohio, former senator from the state, and then that is ultimately enough electoral college votes to get Pete Buttigieg over the finish line. Currently, it's at 284 to 235. And then Pennsylvania, I think Pennsylvania J.D. Vance's best hope. Ultimately, though, I do think if the other 2 Rust Belt states are going tilt blue, that Pennsylvania would probably follow. I think it'll be a state to definitely keep an eye on. It is at the moment the biggest swing state by electoral college district with its 19 votes. So both parties really are hoping to win it in 2028, and that's going to be the call there in the state of Pennsylvania. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.